So today I thought I would do something different and talk more about tech scams and what those are. So I know a lot of you are on the job hunt. You're either looking for your first role in tech or you're looking for your second role, and you might be either following a detailed routine or you might be actually kind of random applying for jobs. Well, in that random applying for jobs, sometimes you may not remember, how many jobs you've applied for, what you've applied for if you haven't tracked them, especially if you're doing mass apply. There's been this thing, I've seen it on TikTok, I've seen it on Twitter, and I've noticed personally when I was on the job hunt for my second role, I've noticed that there's like a new type of scam, which is like the tech scam. And what it is recruiters, I would say, they're jumping into your inbox, whether it be LinkedIn, email, Instagram, to offer you positions for roles that either don't exist or they aren't actually recruiters for that company, or they're not contracted to recruit. So sometimes, like for instance, Google will have like third-party recruiters that recruit for Google. They do not work for Google, but there's differences between those type of recruiters and the recruiters I'm talking about. These kind of recruiters sometimes are, I wouldn't say they're hard to spot, but I think when you're applying and you get super excited because you think a job has like reached out to you or somebody has read your resume and thought it was great and wants to bring you in, I think sometimes in the excitement you forget to use what I call common sense, but it might not be so common. And I just want to help you try and maneuver this space, because I feel like they've stopped calling us on the phone and now they've turned, especially for the people in the tech community, they have turned to tech scams. So I'm just gonna run through about 3/4 examples of like the tech scams that I've personally seen. If you guys have seen one that I haven't discussed and you would love to let other people know, please drop it in the comments below. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and definitely give me your thoughts on this video. So the first type of scam that I've seen is the email scam. And what it is you will randomly get an email from a recruiter for a job that you don't remember applying to or that you're well overqualified or underqualified for. So I pulled an example from my personal inbox of this person who reached out to me. And let's look over some of the common themes that I noticed. This is a good example of one that doesn't exactly like immediately jump out at me as a scam. As we continue reading through it, you'll see why I'm like, okay, this is clearly a scam. So first, they didn't even say my name in the beginning. If this was a job that I had applied for that I just didn't remember applying for, I would assume at some point they would have said, hello, Denise. Hey, Denise. None of that exists, okay? That's one. Two, just like over glance, you'll see that the biggest thing I see is that this email is in 2 different fonts, meaning like 2 different sizes and it looks different. Red flag number 2. 3, it looks good. Normally, one thing that normally jumps out to me is that it'll be like for a position for 7+ years, 8+ years. I don't know who decided that I was a senior software engineer in their database, but I've gotten a lot of roles where they are looking for 7, 9, 10 senior software engineer experience. Obviously, they're already scams anyways, but this one looks something that I could potentially be qualified for. So I skimmed through, and then what do I see besides the fonts difference at the bottom? Look at the mail ID, look at the Skype ID. They're asking for the last 4 of my social. Like, what reason would they need for an application to just update my resume and apply? What reason would they need my social, the last 4 of my social for? Doesn't even make sense. Never in life. Now, I'll say never in life. I don't know if government positions might be different, but those positions are through the one website, right? So, but you came in my inbox and you're asking me for my last 4 of my social and my Skype ID. I mean, no offense to anybody, but who uses Skype still? Okay. That was like the first, okay. And when I say I get these on the daily, I get these at least 3 to 4 times a week, and I'm no longer on the job hunt. So it's interesting to have this keep popping in my inbox, and I'm like, it's happened enough where I think I tweeted about it, and many people commented like they're experiencing the same thing, where people are just kind of jumping in their inbox, trying to see what sticks. What I've heard, and when I did my research, is that people will take your we'll take your social and your resume and all your information, and we'll use that to apply for jobs for other people. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I personally heard. So stay alert. The second time a text scam that I've seen is on LinkedIn. So it's kind of similar to the emails that I just spoke about, but this is a little bit different in that it's people who are adding you to legitimize themselves. Now, what do I mean by that? I was raised here. I was born in Canada. To be honest, if I know somebody that's out of the country, I guarantee you that either they're related or I met them during like their study abroad in America or something like that. I have started to realize that back in the day, I was less careful about who I added on LinkedIn. Now for y'all, if y'all DM me, message me on LinkedIn and tell me, hey, you know, I watched your video, blah, 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 not a problem. These are people that I don't know how we know each other, where I know you from, and when I click on your profile, I don't see anything in relation to me. The only thing I will see is like, oh, we went to Georgia State together. But when you look at Georgia State, they only put 2 to 3 years, and right before and right after, they were not here. Profiles barely filled out, mutual friends are non-existent, or I've seen some that like will have added like 30 people, and I know I did not know you, you know? I feel like people are aware that a lot of employers use LinkedIn to find people and look at connections, things like that. So I think when other applicants are applying, they want to legitimize themselves like, hey, okay, this person has 50 people that they know that work in these companies and all these things, which in theory works to their benefit, but in reality, you don't know the reputation of that person you're adding. So I would say be careful who you end up adding on LinkedIn. I've heard of people copying other people's LinkedIn profiles and with unbeknownst to them adding a bunch of people, because most of us, to be honest, we don't really look at people's profiles. Me, I will look at your profile, you know, if it's not immediate where I know you from, I will definitely look, and you will definitely get that notification that says I looked at it, and I don't care. But it's just because I've started to notice a pattern with that on LinkedIn. And a lot of people are now using LinkedIn as Facebook, but a lot of people are slipping through the cracks that way and being able to take advantage of people's information that way. So that's another type of scam to watch out for. Third is the phone calls and text. So I applied one time. I think it was my first time applying. I applied for a place called Change Healthcare. And I'm familiar with the company because at my old role before tech, like I worked hand in hand with this company. So I'm very familiar with the company. It's a healthcare, like medical records type of company. So I applied for a role there and I got a text about my application. And I did not give them my phone number, but I think my phone number at that time was on my resume. And so I started getting texts like, hey, we received your application. No email follow-up. It was text only. Hey, we received your application. Hey, we received your application, blah, 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 blah. Click this link to keep filling it out. And I'm like, click this link to fill out an application that I already filled out. It's not making sense. So through that, I just did a quick Google search. And that's another tip. You can just search a lot of these places, right? So I just typed in Change Healthcare Text Scam and all these threads popped up. I'll insert like, when I type it in, what pops up, okay? So very obviously a scam. I know we're familiar with the telemarketers calling us, and I feel like they have now also utilized phones and texts and job applicants applying and using fake websites. That's another thing. Fake websites for you to apply through, not even realizing that that's not the real website. So in the words of my old boss, do your Googles and make sure that that website is the true website. Lastly, okay, don't fight me because I know you guys like to tussle, okay? But we have to talk about some of these TikTok videos, okay? Now, what am I claiming? There are a lot of people who are getting into tech and getting amazing offers. They're leaving waitressing, they're leaving cafeteria work, they're leaving all kinds of opportunities to take that leap of faith and try and get a role in tech and land one, right? You know, everybody knows that a lot of tech salaries are very lucrative and there's plenty of opportunities. It's about just using your network and applying and preparing yourself, right? So with those lucrative salaries, there comes a lot of people who like to lie. And I think we talked about liars before, but I never really like put the hammer down on what I meant by that. So let's talk about what exactly that means. So I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like a hater, but for me, if you haven't been in tech and then you are able to get a role that if you haven't been in tech and you're able to go from whatever salary you had before to have a $500,000 salary out of boot camp, I'm going to look at you funny. Now, there are people in this world that has happened to. And I'm sure, their stories are very well documented and detailed, right? But that is not the norm. So if you're on TikTok or Instagram, because I've seen him on Instagram too, I'm going to try to find this guy on Instagram because this is the one that actually prompted me to make the video. It's not uncommon to happen. It can happen for sure. I'm not saying it won't happen or it can't happen, but what I'm saying is the likelihood of it happening, your first role in tech being $500,000 with no experience, There are so many other TikTok tech people who have debunked this. Like, the amount of experience that you have to be commanding a $500,000 salary is a lot. A lot, usually, depending, especially even at FAANG companies, you're talking senior principal staff engineer. You're not talking an entry level salary, right? So a lot of people have resorted to, my first role, tech, 3 months after my boot camp, some of them, it's not even 3 months. They do 3-week boot camps and talk about $500,000 salary, entry level position. And if you want to know how I do it, buy my course. Okay? Buy my course. What? Like, I'm sorry, if you guys hear that, it's somebody's Amazon blocker driver is out here just jamming, okay? But that's besides the point. I think they're singing too. So if you hear that, that's definitely them. But what? You would, doctors, medical students who graduate from residency and are in the first, second, third, fourth year, depending on your specialty of residency, do not even command $500,000 salaries. Lawyers who go to law school out of undergrad, then law school, do not command $500,000 salaries. So why would you think that you can get that? Now, like I said, I'm going to put this out there again. It's not saying it can't be done. But notice the one thing that a lot of these people who are putting it out there that they've made those salaries are saying or doing. They usually got a course to sell, resume service, cover letter service, some kind of goods and services that they want to sell you to mimic or to help you get into tech. But they don't have the experience. Stop buying resumes for people who do not have the experience. And sometimes that experience isn't always commonly known. For instance, I write a lot of resumes for people. I help people write a lot of resumes. I spent my time in grad school working at career services, and all I did all day was write resumes. Wrote them, edited, fixed, helped them apply. That's what I did all day. Just putting it out there. And so sometimes their expertise isn't always known. Now, sometimes they're joking, okay? But usually the comments and their response to the comments tell me they're not joking, So just do your research, do your due diligence. Look up expected salaries for the positions that you want, where you want to apply, meaning the companies and the cities, because different cities, software engineers or any level of tech will command different salaries because of cost of living adjustment and all these other factors, right? So look into it yourself. And then if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So that's all from me. I just wanted to bring this to y'all's attention because, I do care about other people. And if I can stop somebody from getting scammed or like, getting into a bad situation because of, the excitement of getting, because of the excitement of like being reached out to by a recruiter when you've been working so hard and busting your butt and building your projects and your portfolio and studying your data structures and algorithms, and recruiters are finally reaching out to you. I just want to make sure that you guys do not get scammed in the process where they take your information and run with it. You never hear from them again and you have no idea what they can do with that information. So that's all from me. Like I said, if you guys can think of any other type of scams that are occurring that you know of and are aware of, please drop them in the comments below. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about our stories. I, believe it or not, do not have a story for this out of everything. I always have stories, but not about this one. So let's try and help each other out into not getting scammed. And with that being said, have a great rest of your life, have a great rest of your week. And as always, have a good one.